Hi, my name is Jennifer Swanson. I am excited to be here for the S.T.E.A.M Race to Space Reading Challenge. I'm coming at you from Jacksonville, Florida, which is way on the other side of the country. But I'm so excited to be with you today to talk about my book, The Secret Science of Sports. The math, physics, and mechanical engineering behind every grand slam, triple axel, and penalty kick. So this book, I hope that you don't just sit at home or in school reading this, but you actually take it out on the field with you to the swimming pool, to the soccer fields, to the football fields, the tennis courts, wherever, because this book is actually a fun book that you can use while you're playing to learn more about how science and sports go together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you a little bit of the introduction, and then we're going to do a couple of the experiments in the book so that you can have fun. Are you ready? Here we go. If you picked up this book, it's probably because you like sports. Maybe you want to see if it has tips for how to improve your game. It does. Or how to become more fit. Has that too. Or just because you want to know the different types of sports there are. Yes, it's also there. But wait, the title says the science of sports. That means this book also teaches you about science. Why does a sports book have science in it? It's not as if sitting in a science class can teach you anything more about sports than practicing, can it? Actually, it can. Does that surprise you? It shouldn't. Science, and in particular STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, can teach you how tons of stuff about how to get better at sports. Okay, so like I said, there's a lot of different ways you can use this book. You can use it to learn big messages about gravity and forces of motion and physics. You can actually learn how to play football or maybe soccer better. It just depends. It's up to you. So I'm going to show you one of the ways that I recommend that you might use this book, or you can just give it a shot there. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. From the beginning, here we go. Sports plus science equals fun. Awesome. So one of the ways that you can use this book is to learn about one of the most basic forces on the planet, gravity. We all know a lot about gravity, right? And some of it's very simple. For example, it is an invisible force that pulls objects towards each other, or in our case, usually on the earth, pulls it to the ground. So if you throw a ball up, where's it going to go? Down. Exactly. Okay, but there's a little bit more to it than that in sports. So first of all, let's start by talking about sports that use balls as part of their equipment, because we just said if you throw a ball up, it's going to come back down. So you can stop the tape here for a second and think about different sports that will use balls as equipment and what would happen to them if you throw them in the air. Okay. And now I'm going to continue. Did you come up with any of these? We have tennis, volleyball, golf, bowling. Did any of you get bowling? Football, soccer, pool, baseball, and basketball. Those are all, and those are just some, because I bet you came up with other ones too. So when you play any of these sports, you need to understand how, when you throw the ball, it's going to come down. But not only just how it's going to come down, but where it's going to come down sometimes too, right? That's important. And we have that in the book. We have these beautiful illustrations that show you what happens when you throw a ball up in the air. It's going to go up and do what? Come back down. And if you throw a ball at the top and drop it down, it's probably going to also go down. So as I said, this book is best when you can practice it. So you can take a soccer ball or your football or a basketball if you have it and go outside and practice these things. Or if you can't go outside and you're in the classroom, hint teachers and homeschoolers, go get a bunch of cotton balls and hand them out. See, give everybody a cotton ball. And then you can do some of these experiments in the classroom. Okay, so everybody get a cotton ball. Your cotton balls are at the ready. We're just going to start with some simple experiments. I want everybody to throw the ball up in the air, the cotton ball up in the air. But before, we're going to predict, because we're scientists, what do you think is going to happen? Yes, it's probably going to come back down. Now, if you throw it straight up, is it going to come down and you're looking up? Be careful, because it could hit you in the face. All right, let's try this. Everybody ready? Throw it up. Okay, went up and it came back down. But you notice I didn't throw it straight up, so it didn't come straight back down unless you practice that. Okay, next one. Take your cotton ball and drop it. Yep, that's what it's going to do. Fall to the ground. We forgot to predict, but I think we all probably knew. So you can practice with this as much as you want, with inside the classroom with your cotton balls, or outside with actual footballs or basketballs or baseballs or whatever you have. All right, so those are the basics of gravity, which most of us know. And those are in the book. That's one of the forces that we talk about. Another thing that we talk about, though, is and these are the tips for helping you. Say you have a basketball and your basketball is pumped up really high, okay? So it's fully inflated. Now I want you to get another basketball and let some of the air out. So maybe it's not halfway, but a little bit less inflated. Now we're going to predict again. If you take one of these, take each ball and bounce it on the ground, what do you think is going to happen? I'll let you try this. Everybody give it a shot. Let's see if you can see this. Boom. Okay, this came right back up because this is a bouncy ball. But if this were not, it had less air, it weren't had as much inflation in it, it's not going to bounce as high. And again, this is something that you can practice at home and see how it works. And you can do it with a soccer ball or any kind of tennis balls work too, something where the bounce matters in that sport. So this is why you want to make sure that the sports balls that you're playing with are fully inflated. Okay, now we're going to change gears a little bit. Name sports where you as a person has to deal with gravity. So let's think about that. You can stop the tape here for a second and talk to your partners in class or your family at home. Here are some of the ones I came up with and are listed in the book. We have figure skating, not just because they're spinning close to the ground, but when they go up high in the ground, and do their flips and turns. Surfing. Not a lot of people think of surfing, but you do fall back down, although you have the nice cushion of the ocean there to help you. So you maybe don't think about gravity so much. And then, of course, we have long jump. We have high jump. Anytime a baseball player jumps up to make a catch, all of this is gravity affecting you as a person. So that's another force that you want to be thinking about. And you want to be thinking, perhaps if you look at how this person pulls their legs up in the long jump and stretches to get as far as they can, that's another thing that you're interested in. And we talk about all of these different forces in the book. And finally, of course, gymnastics. This is actually a picture of Simone Biles's flip that she does over and over, which is pretty incredible. And hint, there's the math below it, because pretty much there's math for every type of sports and physics involved. So what happens when we throw a ball? Well, this is another thing we're going to test. If you throw it up, if you throw it down to your partner, maybe you're a football player and you're trying to throw the ball as far as you can. This is also, you'll notice the balls travel in a parabola, and that's because the gravity is eventually pulling them back to earth, pulls the football. So, but also, hint, if you look at this picture, there's math there too. There's a launch angle and initial speed. So it depends on how fast you throw it, how far you throw it, the angle you throw it. All of these cool things are discussed in the book. So here is another chance to take your cotton ball And teachers, you can pause the video here, or kids at home, if you're doing it, pause the video here and do some of these experiments. See what you can do, hopefully get a partner maybe, and throw the ball up like this, throw it down like this, throw it far or fast, all of these different things. And what you need to do is watch the angles of what's happening, the parabola, how does it go steep and then come straight down? All of these different things you're going to learn about. And this is going to tell you something about the science and the math and the engineering of why footballs are shaped the way they are. Hint, that's also in the book. So this book is tons of fun. Another thing you can try at home, outside with your parents' permission, is throwing the baseball. So you have to look at the gravity as the baseball flies into the batter, and then the batter as it hits the ball and how high it hits and so forth. These are all amazingly fun things that you can do with STEM and science that are found in this book. And finally, because it's not all about throwing things, sometimes it's about kicking things like a soccer ball. There's a whole section on how physics is your friend, and how when you position your foot in different ways when you kick with the soccer ball, the ball will go different directions. But then you're all soccer players. Any soccer players, that you probably know that already. But perhaps reading this book will help you learn a bit more. Okay, so this is just where to find me, but I'm going to stop sharing. Okay. So it's been so exciting talking to you today. I hope you've learned a lot about STEM and sports and how they go together, like, you know, a baseball and a bat, or a football and a goalpost. Yes, I can make all of these sports analogies. So be sure to participate in the STEAM Race to Space Reading Challenge, because this is going to be so much fun. And for teachers or homeschoolers or kids yourself, if there's other things you want to do with this book or places to explore, ask, what is your favorite sport? And write it down. And maybe you can find that in here and learn more about it. And then find out, how does gravity affect that sport? How do the different forces and motions work? What's the math of that sport? Do you all know the statisticians? You know, and you get people involved and ask everybody to participate with this. So again, I had so much fun doing this. My name is Jennifer Swanson. You can find me at my website, jenniferswansonbooks.com. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I am at Jen Swan Books. Or you can also find me through my science podcast for kids called At Kids Solve. So I hope you enjoyed my book, The Secret Science of Sports, the math, physics, mechanical engineering behind every grand slam, triple axel, and penalty kick. You can buy the book at local bookstores, online retailers, or ask for it at your library. So thanks so much to the STEAM Race to Space Reading Challenge for having me. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Remember, science rocks.